I'm Arash Rashed from University of Idaho in Aberdeen Research and Extension Center. This year at the SCRI annual meeting, I talked about Zebra Chip development during the storage, and more specifically about how LSO will continue to develop post-harvest. What we looked at was how late infestations may actually how plants that are infested late in the season may continue to be affected by LSO during the storage time. So we looked at plants that were infested 4 days before harvest, 1 week before harvest, and 14 days before harvest. And we harvested those tubers, looked at those tubers. A lot of them were asymptomatic, and they also fried negative, which means that they didn't show the dark burning pattern on the sliced tubers. But and we also tested those plants at harvest, and a lot of them, especially if they were infested in less than 1 week before harvest, if you test them with qPCR, they still test negative. Now those tubers were transferred into storage, into commercial storage condition, which consists of the curing process and the ramp down process and a holding stage, which is at 45 degrees, and we looked at pathogen development during these different stages. What we found was that the pathogen interaction with tuber was not limited to field, but it also continued, was not just limited to field, but it also continued throughout those different stages of storage. Now, whether it's the effect of temperature, higher temperature at those different processing stages, or whether it's the actual time since the beginning of the infections, is something that we need to look at in future studies. But for now, we know that if you get tubers, if you get infestations at the end of the season, if it's go directly to processing, and by the end of the season I mean 1 week or 2 weeks before harvest, you probably would be okay for direct like frying and chipping. But if you want to store those, you need to consider the fact that the pathogen may be into those tubers, and it could continue to grow and interact with the tubers and affect the quality of the tubers by the time that it's being marketed in the future.